Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. We also have Dennis Byron, investigative reporter.
Hey, what the heck? Oh, let me take my makeup here. What's going on? Pam!
Wait. I gotta properly introduce you because you got upset with the judge today because she didn't know who you were. So let me properly introduce you. He is Dennis Byron of the Hip Hop Inquirer, and if you challenge his credentials, he will read all of his bio. It don't matter where you are, even in the church, in the court. So, anyways, we were both so this is how this started. So you guys know that I live in Michigan, and I was gonna come here to take notes. So I asked Dennis, I said, well, this is your area and you're always at the Fulton County Court. Could you come down and could you record the hearing? Because the intellects, and I'm sure even Dennis Byron's folks want to see the hearing. And our rendition might be good, but seeing it for yourself is always better. So Dennis said, okay, Pam, I'll put in the Rule 22 so that I can record it. So he puts in the Rule 22, which is what you explain it to him what the Rule 22 is, Dennis.
So Rule 22 is a requirement for media to file in order to record court proceedings in the state of Georgia. There is typically you have two types of Rule 22s. One for pool, meaning that you're sharing it with everyone, and then one for non-pool, meaning you own the rights to that and you don't have to share with anyone if you choose not to. So I put in my Rule 22 in today. Actually, no, I did it 3 days ago. The judge set the date, and that document allows, once the judge signs off on it, allows me to be able to record the proceedings.
Okay. So Dennis calls this morning. I have to put this in the context. He said, Pam, Nesto's attorney has opposed my Rule 22, which basically they were going to fight to say they don't feel it should be recorded. They don't tell you the reasoning why immediately, but you'll know when you get to court. So he said, you got to get here 30 minutes earlier. We kind of discussed, I said, well, this would be your argument. We kind of discussed it or whatever, what it would be. And so I got to court like 30 minutes earlier because the hearing was scheduled for 1 o'clock. So we get there and we get into the courtroom. And let's just start. Now, Sylvia was there. Now, let's just start with that. So Sylvia, she came in. She came in the courtroom.
We got to give it to him. Give it to him raw, Pam.
Give it to him raw. So she came in the courtroom, and she goes and she sits on the other end of the bench. So we're on one end of the bench, myself and Dennis, and then Sylvia goes to the other side of the bench. And she's like, purposefully, you can tell she doesn't want to look us in our eyes. She doesn't want to really say anything to us. So y'all know me. I was like, hey.
I'm like, Pam, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
She don't know that. She ain't acknowledged me or nothing. Never mind the fact that I called the sheriff and said, hey, get her out of there. Okay, go ahead.
I speak to people. I've been very clear that I don't like some of the moves, but it's not personal for me, and that's just my personality, okay? People probably don't appreciate it, but So she did wave back. She did wave back, And when she waved back, she just kind of did it. So that was that. So then I knew we were gonna have to. Well, not we. It was gonna be Dennis was gonna have to argue this Rule 22 so he can record. So I said, I wonder if Sylvia's trying to record. So I walked my little happy self down there. Dennis was like, "You really about to go down there and talk to her?" I was like, so I said, "Are you recording?" She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay." So I just turned around and I sat back down. So y'all know I'm looking in the courtroom because I want to see who here for Nesto. So that's my next order of business. I didn't really see anybody. There were a lot of cases going on, so it was pretty crowded. So then the dep comes in and he's like, "I got to give you guys all the rules, okay? First of all, everybody cut your cell phones off. That's pretty typical." But then he starts adding this whole line. Don't have your arms up on the bench. Have them straight down. If you got a clicker pen, make sure you done put the pen down so you don't click. Don't say ma'am. Say your honor. Say and don't.
And we'll tell you why that's funny later on.
Right.
Don't
say ma'am. Say your honor or say judge. Where'd you go, Dennis? He done clicked himself off. Don't say no. Like he's giving us this a whole list of all you cannot. I said, Dennis, I need you to stick to what I told you to say because this judge is not playing. I know she didn't play before, but I didn't know how it was. So here's Dennis back. What happened?
It's your Wi-Fi. I'm good. I'm on fiber optics.
It might be my Wi-Fi because I am in the hotel room. So if it gets too bad, I'll just put it on my hotspot.
Okay.
Maybe I need to do. No, I don't want to switch off real quick. But anyway. No, I was just saying all of the rules. So what are the rules? So then here go Dennis. Dang, can we cough? Can we sneeze? Can somebody?
Right. Yeah. Can we even blink our eyes more than once? So it was to a point where I leaned back, and he told me to put my arms under my lap, put my hands on my legs. I'm like, what the heck? What is this here? What kind of boot camp she got going on in this courtroom?
Then he comes to me and I said, you know what, for any attorneys that's new, I think that you guys should come into Judge Adams. If you can withstand her and her scrutiny and how she runs her courtroom, you're going to be fine wherever you are. So even though we can laugh at it, she's really just she wants her stuff methodically in a certain order. And if you can withstand that, then it's all good. So,
and we must say that she doesn't just do this for the people in the gallery. She does it for the defense, the prosecution, the sheriffs. No, everyone gets to smoke with her. Everyone catches smoke with the judge.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I see your super chats. I'm gonna have to acknowledge you guys in a minute because we got to get through this initial. Listen, this hearing was more. So then this is what happened next. So then he says she's calling the order position 1. Earnest was actually the first one. So when he goes, to try to see if everybody's here, and then Dennis is like, I have a Rule 22 and we need to have a hearing on it. He was like, she said, I don't do Rule 22s the same day. And he was like, no, I've actually submitted it 72 hours ago. She's like, okay, sit down. So then Dennis says,
oh! What do you mean sit down? Who are you talking to? Sit.
She was talking to you. She was clearly talking to you, Dennis. She was talking to you. She said, sit down. That's what she said. So I'm just putting my head down because this is just oh my God. Y'all, we drove here. So it was
well, hold on. No. You left something out, Pam. Pam left something out.
It was
Pam had me. Pam said, Dennis, don't make no noise. Pam, what? Loosen up, Pam.
I know. Dennis was over there clicking his glasses and stuff. I'm like, the lady doesn't even want you clicking a pen. Why are you clicking your glasses? You're gonna get us put out the court, Dennis. Could you stop? We have some you have to, she has a certain law and order in here, and I'm gonna need you to follow it because I need to get this to the intellects. And based on the way you're acting, we're gonna get kicked out. Okay, this is what it's looking like. So then Dennis says, I have her, sit down. So that was that. So then finally.
No. I said, ma'am.
Oh, God. Then Dennis gets up and said, "Yes, ma'am." She was like, "It's Judge or Your Honor." And then he looks at the desk like, "I'm so sorry. I forgot I wasn't supposed to call her ma'am." I said, "This fool right here."
A little trolling in the beginning.
Okay. So then the hearing comes, right? So she gets the paperwork. So this is unfortunately this is not recorded because of course there was no permission to record. So the Hannah, what is her name? Rodon, Earnest attorney.
Nesto's attorney.
Right. Yeah, she gets up and she basically says, first she says she thinks that she gives two reasons. One, she thinks it's going to be a distraction because under Georgia rules, I think it's like 15-10-1 or something along those lines. They have criteria that the judge will weigh as to whether you should be able to have media, because even though it's open to the public, sometimes there are discretionary reasons why they wouldn't have you be able to record. So she says one of the reasons is she believes it's going to be a distraction. And judge basically tells her, yeah, that's not your best argument. Okay. So then her second reason, she says, because she thinks it's prejudicial because this has gotten so much attention. All of these bloggers are out here talking. And so that was, it was her strongest argument, but for what I told Dennis, his argument was going to be, right? So, I'll give her a B plus, all right? Because that was the best argument. So she gets up and she says, well, this is the reason why, da-da-da-da-da. And she's saying that it's all out in the media. It's going to be prejudicial. It's going to prejudice our jury pool, all of that this stuff keeps going out. We need to bring stop to this and everything. So then the judge pretty much looks like she has made her decision. So she goes and she starts reading the factors because she's very thorough. So she goes to the statute. She said, well, we have cameras in all the time. So you saying it's going to be a distraction is not going to be good enough. She said, but I do agree with you that it looks like it would be prejudicial. He is innocent until proven guilty. Basically, you can tell she Googled and she done looked at some of these videos and she was like, she said, I've seen some of the videos and whatever, and I don't know what type of, media outlets this is, but it has been talked a lot. And I do agree he hasn't even been indicted yet. So she was like for it, right? She was for it. So then she says, and I looked at this paper and it says Hip Hop Inquirer is the one. I've never heard of them. So they're not a mainstream media. Dennis's face was like, what? So I looked at them. I said, oh, it's about to go down. I already knew it. I said, what? So she basically told Dennis, you ain't no real media outsource. I ain't never heard of you. So you're not up here. You're not no CNN. You ain't no MSNBC. I ain't never heard of you. So Dennis was looking like, you could see him like, how people be huffing and puffing. He's sitting there looking like, what? So then he's sitting back and this guy, like the judge is going. So the judge keeps going and Dennis is like putting his finger because he want to talk, but she's reading her, her reasoning. She's putting her order that she's about to deny this on the record, right? Dennis got mad. Next thing you know, Dennis was like this. He got up, he grabbed his coat, he put his coat on.
Oh!
He grabbed all this stuff. I'm tapping Dennis. I'm like, what you doing? Like, sit down, bro.
How dare you?
Like, sit down. So then the judge says, Mr. Byron, did you have anything? I see you putting your coat on. Is there anything that you want to say? He said,
why did she say that?
He said, you know what, Your Honor, there is something I want to say. Would you like me to come up here or do you want me to stay back here? So Dennis walks up to the little swinging thing where the wells of the court are. That's, So he goes there and he stays out in the gallery, but he's like, not a thing. So Dennis starts out. Dennis done forgot what we there for, y'all. He done forgot because he just cannot believe that this judge has basically said you ain't nobody and you ain't no real media outlet. Dennis said, first of all, I would like to address to the point of what you were saying. Let me read my credentials. He was like, I've interviewed 5 sitting presidents. I've had 5.
That's an interview. Shot him.
Okay, go ahead. Tell your story. You can go on and tell them what your argument was.
So I walked up, and she was allowed me to be heard. So I responded to his attorney, which the 2 points that she made. And I said, the first one was about the camera sound and so forth. I said, Yana, I use state of the art equipment. Sound's never been an issue. I don't have it verbatim. And then we start going into the second part. So then I started citing the courtrooms that I've covered over the years. Then I went down to my resume and started referencing CNN, New York Times, the Daily News, Reuters. I just went over a list of things. I guess she was on the computer. I said, Google me. She could Google me. I said, Google me, baby. She Googled me.
He did. When he said Google, and I knew it was coming, I said, basically, he's telling her to Google him. So she's just kind of shaking her head because he's like, and currently, I am covering the YSL trial. I am in the pool for the Trump trial. I can't, basically, I'm only here because my legal correspondent with her file self got me up in this courtroom.
Right, exactly. The hell, I don't know that guy.
I'm supposed to be in Douglas County right now doing Nature Boy. And y'all sitting up here for this chick because she loves her intellect so much. She got me in here recording.
She put me in this mess. So then go ahead. You can tell the rest of the story.
So then the judge said, okay, you know, she takes it in or whatever. I think she kind of knew that he was kind of offended, like he got years of, you know, a lot of people don't know Dennis's resume, you know, whatever. He has not worked with this judge. If he was in front of other judges, because he did cite other judges he's worked with and that they know him and they accept his Rule 22s all the time. So I just told Dennis, I said, thank you, God, that I told you to do it, because Lord knows if I would have put in my Rule 22, I had nothing, okay?
You out of here.
I have YouTube. He would shoot him like, you're out of here, lady. I don't care where you practice, how long you been. I don't really care. You are not a journalist. So anyway, you know, God gave me wisdom on that to have Dennis do that. So I owe Dennis. I told him I owe him. So then Dennis says, and Your Honor, because this is what I told Dennis. I said, when we had a conversation.
Oh, it gets funky now. It gets funky.
I said, Dennis, I said, the problem that they're going to have with their argument is that Earnest Williams has availed himself to the media. He was on Tasha K Live and he did the audio where he called in. He knew it was being recorded. I said he has an advocate out here that is basically doing a lot of these interviews, essentially.
Which I had already researched already.
Yeah. I'm not saying you didn't, but you know, that's what I said was going to be, because you basically were saying it's a public interest. I said it can be a public interest, but that's not going to be what's going to be the end all be all, because they admitted that the public was interested in it, which is a criteria, but because he availed himself. So then here goes Dennis. Now I told him Tasha K, right? I use that as an example. Dennis says, you had Miss Timosini. What's her? How do you say her name?
Sylvia Tomasini.
I'm saying Miss Sylvia. She said, you have Miss Sylvia. She actually went and interviewed. What made me interested, Your Honor, in the case is because she went over there, a blogger, Miss Timothy. She's here in the courtroom. She went there and she interviewed him and she put the videotape on her website. Right?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Yeah, she put it on her YouTube. Now back up now. The judge has already pretty much decided before Dennis comes up that she is not going to allow him to record. So he's coming in fighting the side on why it should be recorded. So in theory, but for that, she would have been valid, to try to say that. So she said, she's like, I don't know who you're pointing to. The lady over there with the gray hair, with the black outfit sitting about the attorney. She ain't raised her hand or nothing. She was just down there like, I can't believe it.
And I said, Jan, you signed her Rule 22. She's right over there.
Yeah,
I was like, Sylvia, raise your hand.
He said, and she signed you signed her Rule 22 before she recorded it. So how do you take a video, you let a YouTuber come and interview you and then put it up and then say, oh, well, I don't want them to record. So then the judge says, is that all you have to say? He said,
no, let me tell you what I said. I said, Yana, they may, because, she's sitting right there by the attorney. Now, mind you, she's sitting right next to Nesto attorney. She's talking to her. She's talking to her before the judge comes to the bench. So I said, Yana, they may not want my type of media to cover it. They want, they want to essentially cherry pick what type of media can cover him. And I said, no, I'm a journalist. That's a blogger. Then just
He sure did.
I said, I'm a journalist. She's a blogger.
He said, I'm a journalist. She's a blogger. That's pretty much what he said. And I'm sitting there looking like, well, what am I, Dennis? Dang, I ain't got nothing but
you're my legal correspondent.
He has my legal correspondent here too. So he did prop me up or whatever because he has life over there in the house. I said, dang. So then he says, okay, Mrs. Rondon, do you have anything that you want to say? And so she's about what he said, because it sounds like to me that your client availed himself to the media. So then she basically doesn't have much to say, except she said, well, from the video that she's talking about, it was mainly prayer. It was prayer and scripture. It wasn't anything. And the judge just kind of looked like. And
I hit the judge with this. You didn't see that. I did like this to the judge.
He just looked like it was just prayer and scripture. So the judge just looked at her like, oh, okay. So then the judge went back. She said, well, given the information that I just got from Mr. Byron, she said, I'm going to reverse my order granting your opposition, and I'm going to grant his Rule 22. How long will it take you to set up your video?
5 minutes, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, 5 minutes.
I was set up in 4. She came walking back in the corner. I'm sitting there on the wall with the ready to shoot.
I left out because I was scared. I had water and I was a little parched, but I was like, I ain't drinking no water in this ladies' courtroom. Your Honor is not playing with it. So I said, I'm not going to water. So I said, Dennis, 5 minutes. Okay, let me step out because it got a little tough up in there. So
yeah, it was pretty. It
got tense.
It was really. I'll tell you guys, and this is no joke. I have never been in front of a judge in all my career that gave me so much starting. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Pam, you got me. What did you get me into here?
Yeah, he was mad at me, y'all. He was like, why you had me come here to this Rule 22? He said, I've never been to this. I was like, you see, they said we make a good team. I said, see, we make a good team.
Right.
I was trying to get y'all the video. That's it. I was trying to get y'all the video. And damn, here we have it.
All right, this is the matter of the state.
You said what?
Well, I didn't know you can press it. I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. So this is the video that Dennis has, that he recorded it. My thumbnail was also photographs from him. And of course, this is an intellectual property. So even if y'all use my stuff, you guys might want to ask Dennis to use it. And yeah, because this is his stuff. But there was a bond hearing.
That part you don't want to use. This part you don't want to use. Before or after, but not this part. Go ahead.
Okay. So put this in. So after all of this happened, he sets up his camera, and then we have the actual bond hearing. There's a lot that happens in this bond hearing. There are going to be some things that you guys have never heard before, because we were looking at each other like, whoa, what they just say? But I'm going to let you guys hear. We're going to try not to do any for real. How long is this, Dennis?
It's decent. I want to caution people that I've edited out names,
yes,
just to protect the alleged victim and witnesses. So when you hear silence, that's just because we don't want to, put anyone in harm's way.
Okay, ahead, yeah. So that's what took so long too, because Dennis is recording a whole nother. He's streaming, and he's the media for other cases in the court. And so he did us a favor by going to do this for me. Then he went back. So I know you guys was like, dang, she gonna post this and then bounce, and we don't know when she coming back. But he had to edit it because there were more than one name was put. Absolutely. More than one name was mentioned. Let's just say that. So I see you guys saying about slowing down the chat. I'm gonna try to do that. But I'm going to play this, and we're going to wait till after the fact, perhaps, to do some commentary. I'm not going to cut it up. I'm going to let it play. You already have your watermark on it, so it's cool.
Yeah, you play it later.
I only try to talk just, if you don't have a watermark on it. Go ahead.
Oh, it's good.
State of Georgia versus Ernest Williams. The defendant is in custody under CP number 23 CP 219961. The defendant was previously before this court for the court's consideration of bond, which the court denied. Mr. Williams is present in court with his attorney. Hannah Rondon, and the state is represented. The court is ready to proceed. Ms. Rondon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. To begin, Mr. Williams has been in custody without indictment for 232 days, so he is entitled to bond under OCGA 17750. To speak to who Mr. Williams is, he is 59 years old and has lived his entire life here in Georgia. He has extensive family here, as well as all his contacts. He does have a good address, which I can provide to the court here in the Metro Atlanta area. Prior to his arrest, he did own and operate 2 businesses for approximately 20 years. And so he does have substantial community ties to Atlanta and generally to the state of Georgia. Because Mr. Williams is entitled to bond, I'm asking for bond to be set as follows: $20,000 per felony count and $500 on the misdemeanor for a total.
You'll need to enumerate the counts.
Sure. For count 1, which is the rape charge, I'm asking for $20,000. For the aggravated sodomy charge, I'm asking for $20,000. For the sexual battery misdemeanor, I'm asking for $500. For the aggravated sexual battery, I'm asking for $20,000. And for the trafficking for sexual servitude, I'm asking for $20,000. That is a grand total of $80,500. Mr. Williams has been in custody, as I stated, on this particular case for 232 days without indictment, but he has been in custody since July 7th of 2022, which is 19 months. I bring that up to support why I'm asking for an $80,000 $500 bond. His means have been significantly impacted due to the time he has spent in custody. Your Honor, he's not a flight risk from this jurisdiction, as he strenuously maintains his innocence and is looking forward to the day that he can go to court and maintain his innocence. That is all, Your Honor.
All right, so I just want to make sure that the charges are aligned, and I want to repeat what I understood to be your request for bond. You essentially have requested a $20,000 bond on each of the felonies, which I believe was your earlier summary. Those felonies being aggravated sexual battery, rape, aggravated sodomy, and trafficking a person for sexual servitude.
Yes, Your Honor.
And a $500 bond on the misdemeanor simple battery count.
Yes, Your
For
Honor.
a total of $85,000, correct?
Yes.
Anything else?
No, nothing further.
Ms. Strait?
Yes, Your Honor. The state concedes that the accused is
Entitled?
entitled, yes, thank you, Your Honor, is entitled to a bond pursuant to OCGA section 17. Criminal history of the defendant. 2, I have a statement I'd like to read to the court from one of the victims in the case, and then of course the fact that the court has already heard in the previous bond hearing in this matter. In terms of the defendant's criminal history, he has 19 cycles of arrest and 8 felony convictions. He has a felony conviction for theft by receiving, Fulton County. That was in August of 1989.
I need you to wait just a moment, because some of the information that you're reciting I have,
Okay.
and I want to pull the notes that I have from the earlier hearing. Take your seat.
Thank you. 1 theft by receiving at Fulton County, August of 1989.
I have the history of all of his prior convictions.
Okay. And Your Honor, do you have all 8?
Actually, the last time the matter was before the court, and I'm not interested going forward in cycles. I think I've told you that before. Cycles don't mean anything to the court. I see 4 convictions and 4 pending cases.
Okay, so I have 8.
1998 theft, 1988 theft, 1990 armed robbery out of Cobb County. The theft case was in Fulton. A 1992 armed robbery out of Douglas County. And then there are 4 pending cases, at least based on these notes. 1 from 20, 1 from 21, and 2 from 22. The case from 20 is theft by deception. The case from 21 is theft by deception. I have 222 pending cases, 1 for child pornography and the other for theft by deception. And it appears that there's a 2006, this might be a forgery in the first degree out of Cobb County, which would be the fourth felony conviction that was reported the last time the matter was before the court.
If I can make some corrections to that history, just to be sure that, on the record, I have all of them listed. As to the death by receiving.
Give me the date of conviction, the charge, jurisdiction, and sentence. That's how I'd like to receive the information.
Yes, Your Honor. August 21st of 1989, death by receiving, Fulton County, 4 years probation. July 2nd, 1991, death by receiving and death by taking, DeKalb County, 1 year confinement. 1989,
That's not a year. That's not a full date, I'm sorry.
yes, it's August 21st, 1989.
So they're not in chronological order?
They weren't on the GCIC, Your Honor, when I went to do another case. This is death by receiving in Fulton County, 4 years probation.
Are you sure that's not the same? It is the same. You gave me that twice.
And I looked at that, Your Honor, and I believe when I read the GCIC, it said these two case numbers were wrong with one another. So I believe that there are two separate cases. I was not able to look at to confirm that when I reviewed it. August 9th, 2006, armed robbery and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Just need the highest charge.
And armed robbery, county, 10 years confinement. October 17th, 1991, death by taking, Gwinnett County, 8 years to serve with 2 years in confinement. Balance on probation.
It's not 8 years to serve, it's 8 served to. The balance prorated.
Yes, Your Honor. February 22nd, 1998, armed robbery, Douglas County, 10 years in confinement. August 9th, 2006, concealing facts in matters of government, Cobb County, 1 year in confinement. And then August 5th, 2005, bank fraud. This is a federal conviction out of Kentucky, 37 months in confinement. The accused has 2 open cases that the court was referencing earlier, 22 CP 211078, that's forgery and ID fraud. Also, a 22 CP 521500, that's a theft by deception charge. And then there are 2 cases that were indicted to Judge Edwards that have been dismissed because they will be re-indicted into a conspiracy charge under 1614-4, and those 2
So the cases were dismissed before the re-indictment?
Yes.
Not interested.
And then the pending case before us, Your Honor, y'all like to note for the record that there were.
And before you leave that, I would just note that the 2 pending cases that I have from 22 are different from the ones that you cited. I have, as I indicated, one, I think the alleged incident date is July of 22 for child pornography. The second, with an alleged incident date, I believe of June 4th of 22 was the theft by deception. It's a little bit different than what you cited for the court.
So there are 3 cases, and the 2 that you're on the side, the one that you cited was the child sexual abuse material case, possession of child pornography. That is,
I don't need the case number. Let's continue.
okay. And then the other 2 cases that I cited are pending cases. They're pending cases in our white colleges. The 22 CP 211078.
Right, counsel, the numbers don't mean anything to the court. I'm interested in the dates and charges. And I only had 2. You said 2, and now you're telling me 3 from 22.
22 CP is June 4th, 2022. And that is the death by exception. And then the 22 CP 2110788.
Again, counsel, I'm sorry, are you getting any of this, Ms. Klein? Are you able to get this? Stop the table, are you getting it? Can you hear?
Okay, I'll speak up.
I don't need, again, for the third time, CP numbers. I'm interested in the date and the charge.
Okay. June 4th, 2022.
We've covered that, the last one.
And the last one is January, I don't have the date for that, January 2021. And that is the ID fraud.
So you don't have any offenses from 21 beyond that? So let me back up. You're confusing me, Ms. Winfrey, which is not unusual. But as it relates to what you're citing to the court, I gave you the 4 pending cases that were reported the last
Wait
time
a
this matter
minute.
was
You
before
have
the
to play
court
that back.
for bond hearing. You indicated to me that you had,
Oh, we all were like,
I'm like, Pam, what? How embarrassing. Wait a minute. I'm like,
I'm gonna play it back a little bit. Yeah, she was not playing.
She said,
A little bit.
we've covered that, the last one.
And the last one is January, I don't have the date for that, January 2021. And that is the ID fraud.
So you don't have any offenses from 21 beyond that? So let me back up. You're confusing me, Ms. Winfrey, which is not unusual. But as it relates to what you're citing to the court, I gave you the 4 pending cases that were reported the last time this matter was before the court for bond hearing. You indicated to me that you had 2 cases from 22, and then you said that there was a 3rd case. I think what you were trying to tell me was that you had the 2 cases from 22, and there were additional pending cases, because the last one you cited was from 21. So I have a case from 20. I think this is 20 if I can read my notes, which is a theft by deception. That may be 21. I have a second theft by deception from 21. Child pornography case from 22. And a 3rd theft by deception from 22.
That is correct.
All right. Anything else?
Your Honor, we state for the record that the defendant has 2 FTAs on his record. We also would like the court to know that there was a warrant out of Henry County for a larceny case for February 19th, 2019. And then there are 2.
So if you guys missed it right now, what she's going through is, I believe, warrants that he has, that they're outstanding warrants.
Warrants out of California, Los Angeles, for cases for cars that were stolen out of California and sold in Georgia. There's also a warrant out for Augusta for obstruction and giving false name to law enforcement, where the defendant used a name Victor West. And the defendant has many aliases, as well as using 6 different social security numbers and at least 5 different dates of birth.
I only have 1 FTA from 2004 from my notes from October.
Other FTA is from 2020 and it was not prosecuted.
So if it wasn't prosecuted, Ms. Winfrey, it's not an FTA, right?
That's correct. I would like to also place in the record that the victim in this case wanted to place in the record a statement. And as this case has progressed, there have been 3 additional outcry witnesses that have come forward.
Hear that? She said, since the case has progressed, there have been 3 more outcry witnesses that have come forward.
She made similar outcries regarding sexual abuse. And in terms of, I spoke to one of the victims, one of the outcry witnesses on yesterday. None of them wanted to be here today, but wanted me to intimate their concerns about Mr. Williams' release, if he is released on bond. The first is
and this is where I muted, ladies and gentlemen. I took those names out of it.
she states that he has been traumatized at a very young age. He still has nightmares sometimes, and I have to live with everything he's done to me and many others. I am scared that if he gets out, he will confine me because of the contract he made me sign in blood. I do think he is a big threat, and I'm going to look at the criminal history that the system failed, not just me, but many others as well, because he got away with it for years. I also received a statement from
Once again, that's one of the victims.
and she is another outcry witness in this case. And she states that, hello, my name. I would like to say that I do not wish for my dad to get a bond due to the trauma he has left me with. I now attend a mental health program for my healing process. I fear if he gets released, he will put the community in more confusion. Thanks for your time. We ask the court to consider those outcry statements.
Yes, you guys heard it correctly. That's what she said.
The facts the court has already heard the bond hearing in October of last year, and we ask the court for a bond to be set as follows for each count. As to the aggravated sodomy, the state would request a $100,000 bond. As to the rape count, the state would request a $100,000 bond. As to the aggravated sexual battery, the state would request a $100,000 bond. And as to the trafficking a person for sexual servitude, the state would request a $100,000 bond. And as to the sexual battery, the state would request a $50,000 bond, an aggregate of $450,000. The state requests special conditions, and in this case specifically, that the accused have no contact, indirect or direct, with the main victim in this case. Outcry witnesses. Outcry witness. So the financial crimes cases overlap and intersect with the sex cases. And no discretion was referenced in this case. Owners of a vehicle that the defendant, he basically defrauded and used her name for some things that ended up being a part of our case in the sex crime case. This special condition is already outlined in the other law orders with other cases. We just want to ensure that it overlaps in this case as well. And that is the reason why the state is asking for that specific special condition here. We would also ask for the special condition that he be under house arrest. That he have an ankle monitor that he is responsible for paying for. That he surrenders his passport within 24 hours of release. They have no social media, no weapons, and not able to leave the state of Georgia. And those are the special conditions that we would ask the court to consider in this case.
Anything else, Ms. Wyman?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to address that the case referenced for child pornography from January the 12th, 2023, that case has been dismissed, and that was announced at the previous hearing for that case on February the 5th, 2024, before the Honorable Alexandra Manning. Additionally, the failure to appear that was referenced from 2004 is extremely old, as well as the last felony conviction is over 18 years ago. This is very old. Mr. Williams, in the 18 years between 2006 and now, other than the pending charges that he is maintaining his innocence on, has not had cycles of arrest or convictions during those 18 years. And, Your Honor, I believe that he is a good candidate for bond because he will come back to court and is looking forward, in fact, to his day in court in this case.
What about the 4 outstanding warrants?
Your Honor, those warrants, I'm hearing about them right now. So I do not have any knowledge of those warrants.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Break away on that keyboard.
What you did not address, Madam Prosecutor, is what the state's intention is regarding the charges given with the time the defendant has been in custody. Is there any projection as to when the state will make a charging decision?
Yes, Your Honor, the state intends to be able to present in April with these cases. We're coordinating that also with the cases that are open in White House.
So according to again, he is innocent until proven guilty. These are just allegations. But according to the prosecutor, they are going to present the case in front of the grand jury. And it sounds like all of his cases will go in April, is what she just told the judge. She gave a actual month of when the next, I'm assuming the next time the grand jury impanels, because they don't impanel every month. I think it's like every 3 months or something like that. Thank you guys so much. I'm seeing all the cash apps. Dennis, you getting some love over there in your cash apps?
I am, but I want to say something, Pam.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
What the judge, what stuck out for me was the judge at the conclusion of this, she tells him that once it's indicted, it's coming back to her. She's taking the case.
We ain't finished it yet, though, Dennis.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
He's so hype, ain't he? He's still hype from court. Because the way he put that jacket on, he was leaving that courtroom when she said she was denying his Rule 22. I said, Dennis, just calm down, buddy.
Well, I was out there. I got better courts to go to. I said, wait a
He
minute.
was hotter than fresh grease, man. I said, jeez. But thank you guys. Okay, we got to get to the end. It's almost over, y'all.
And I haven't done the calculation, Ms. Rondon. What was the number of days you indicated your client had been in custody? 232. Thank you. All right, given the length of time that has passed, the defendant technically was entitled to a bond when the court heard this matter in October of 2023. However, the court in its discretion denied the defendant's motion for bond at that time. The matter is back before the court today for reconsideration, and based on the representation of the state concerning its intentions relative to the presentation of the formal charges to the grand jury, and the fact that Mr. Williams has now been in custody for 232 days, the court believes that he is in fact still entitled to a bond, and the bond should be granted in this instance. However, the court has some serious concerns regarding the history, even though the last conviction, as was properly pointed out by Ms. Rondon, was in 2006, and it has been several years. The state recited at least 4 outstanding warrants in various jurisdictions, in addition to providing victim impact statements from alleged victims to the crimes that Mr. Williams has been arrested for, which he's been arrested. And so in light of all of those considerations, the court hereby sets bond as follows. as to what appears on the court's calendar as count number 1, which is aggravated sexual battery. The court sets a $100,000 bond. As to count 2, rape, the court sets a $100,000 bond. As to count 3, aggravated sodomy, the court sets a $50,000 bond. As to count 4, sexual battery misdemeanor, the court sets a $5,000 bond. And as to count 5, trafficking a person for sexual servitude, the court sets a $150,000 bond. That's a total bond of $400,000. Sets a total bond of $405,000. Should the defendant make bond, he will be subject to additional conditions of bond. Among those conditions are that he shall have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim in this case, the 3 additional outcry witnesses, and the 4th alleged witness in the financial crime. I think all of those names have been provided by the state representative. Yakon?
It's
You're talking to me, not the whole court, right? If you write those names down, Ms. Winfrey, and provide them to the litigation manager. The court is further going to require that the defendant shall surrender his passport. He will be subject further to the requirement that he shall surrender any weapons. He shall have no social media presence. He must reside in the state of Georgia and respond.
Okay. That was it, Dennis?
That was it. That was it for part 1. For part 1. That was it for part 1.
Yeah, she
Part
was
2 is
giving. Go ahead.
so essentially that bond hearing revealed a lot more than I knew. I was like, wow, you want to visit him too? What the hell going on here? Did you do your research? Like, what the heck going on here? And the outcry victim, that was like, wow.
So, like in the first part where the prosecutor started going over his Nesto's background, and I've said that before, I'm like, there's more convictions in this. Like, where are you guys getting this? So in the first hearing, she only referenced whoever the prosecutor, because I don't know if they're rotating or if this is the same person. It looks like a different person in the first bond hearing related to these charges, this specific case, because he has 7 open cases for those of you that don't know. So for this specific case is the only one he had a bond. If you guys recall, I told you guys he was entitled to a bond. He was entitled back in October because he had been in there for over 90 days and he was unindicted. However, I don't remember his attorney arguing that fact, but regardless, the judge denied having bond anyway. And so this was a reconsideration of bond. And so this time the prosecutor came with 8 convictions and was listing it off for the judge. So that's what you heard initially. I knew about the outstanding warrant in Henry County, and I knew about the one that was in California because he has 2 warrants in California, but California said they weren't coming here to get them. But if you come to California, you gonna get got. That's pretty much what they said. Like, it ain't that deep for us to come get you, but if you come here and we find you, you're gonna be hit. But apparently there are other open warrants, and one of them was in Douglas County. And it was for, I think, of what is obstruction? I think she said obstruction.
It was, I think it was an assault in there as well.
Oh, I ain't hear that one.
I mean, he ran the board. He said allegedly.
I don't remember that. No, it's just warrants too, but they said 4 warrants. I'm not sure about the assault. Y'all scratch that. That was Hip Hop Inquiry. Y'all go up on his page and let him say.
Well,
We're streaming. We're streaming together too. So those of you guys that go over there, you guys can send him some super chats and stuff and all that on his page, because you guys are saying thank you, Dennis, on my page. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, come up.
I'm not
Hey,
giving him none of that money back. So
show some love. Anyway,
he did. He deserves
we'll
it.
figure it out.
He deserves
We'll
it.
figure
He
it out.
definitely
Listen.
deserves it, because he wasn't expecting this. I didn't even tell him how the judge was or nothing. I just was like, oh, you in court anyway? You think you could do this for us in the NLS? And then he was mad as heck at me. He was like, I did this for you. Why am I in here?
But we work together good as a team anyway. When we cover Tory Lanez in California, we were on top of it. We were on top of it. And
so
and I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I was about to say, and I think that's when you pretty much started your platform. I mean,
Yep, it was.
Congratulations, because your platform looks great. And I tell people I love working with smart people. Smart people just make the story even better. So I commend you for making the trip and getting me in that hot water with the judge. I really appreciate that. The judge will never forget my face, I'm sure.
It was a lesson learned,
It was a lesson learned.
But yeah, so there were impacts that they call them outcry statements, and the prosecutor alleged that 3 different people called and said that they had similar experiences with Earnest Williams. And one of them said that they were having nightmares and they can't sleep and they don't want to, they're afraid that he's going to come after them and all of that. I think it's quite interesting because we know that there was information that was put out here related to one of the alleged victims being out of state and not wanting to testify. I did not get that when I came to this hearing, that somebody was saying they was not going to testify, that they were lying, or they were trying to take it back. That is not what we got today. She pulled up those impact statements, and it sounded like they're still in contact with whoever it is. There was another young lady, I guess, that wanted to come today and was going to come. Now, that would have really been something. Who was going to come and was going to read her alleged experience. However, I think there was some fear there when it came to facing him, which I told you guys before, it's very difficult to come forward, let alone come to court and face someone who you are alleging did these terrible things. Then you have the third one of the person, you guys heard the word dad being used. Whether that's a biological, whether that's a godparent, whether that's we just calling him dad, I don't know. I don't know the name of his kids. I've never looked into that like that. But yes, they did say my dad, and we're saying that they were traumatized and they're in mental health. They have mental health issues and they're in mental health therapy because of it. So that's what you guys heard. I know sometimes the sound gets a little, everybody has to wear masks in the courtroom, which makes it more difficult to hear, especially if you're an attorney that does not articulate. So a lot of times she has to say, pull your mask all the way up over your nose so people can hear you better. But a lot of that is muffled because of the mask as well. So if you already talk low and you don't project, everybody's not loud like me because I get real loud. Like if you don't project, then you're not going to hear it. So, and Dennis can only do so much. I mean, it's not like they were going to agree. Let's put Mike in front of people or whatever. It wasn't like that. He had to do it directly from, they gave Dennis a certain area almost close to the door exiting the courtroom in order to film. And
it was a good angle because I was able to see the prosecution and defense as well as the judge. And I also was able to see the gallery. So it was, I like that position because sometimes you, like in the case of Nature Boy, I'm shooting through a glass, and we'll talk about that case later. But it's this courtroom, the way this judge runs, she's still on COVID protocols.
She still has the plastic in front of her and everything, as you guys saw in the video. Yeah, but somebody asked about what the outcry statement is. Basically, There were kind of like how they have impact statements. It's kind of similar to that. So you can ask people what their feelings are or thoughts of a person getting out, and you have the right. So you had the alleged victim that is a part of this case that had something to say. There's another woman. I don't know who this person is because they were going to show up, but they did not. So there was no statement. And then you had the one that was saying, there may be some type of relation.
Can you
Again,
talk about the? Can you talk
go ahead.
about the one? I'm assuming she's a victim from the alleged scams.
Alleged victim. So when so towards the end, when the judge was giving conditions to the bond, so you guys know the number is $405,000. So we all know that, but there's also conditions if he were to post that bond. Now people are saying 10% and all of that. She ain't say no 10%. Now you can always go to a bail bondsman and perhaps they will require 10, 15, 20%. But that I think people automatically believe that that's an automatic that you get 10%, and it's not. Sometimes they say cash,
Right.
cash assurance. But there is one of the cases that you guys know that we've talked about that had to do with the car and saying that accusing Mr. Williams of taking the car and transferring it. You guys should be quite familiar with that case. When it came down to listing who the outcry victims are, she said 3. The prosecution said 3, but when she named the outcry victims, she named 4. And she said the 4th one was one of the ones that was connected to a prior case that we went over, those incident reports. And so that was the case. So she added 4 as outcry victims because it was one of the ones that were connected to one of the other financial crimes cases. Again, allegedly, because he's not even indicted yet. And it has to go before a grand jury. Grand jury has to bring forth the indictment. We don't know if the grand jury shall or shall not. So.
And that's why the judge kept saying, well, he's not a defendant. So per se, she kept on saying that he's Mr. Williams.
I thought that was interesting, but I've
Me
never
too.
heard that because on the caption, it clearly like defines him as such. But the judge was saying he is not, in theory, I guess, because she's straight by the black and white, probably a strict constructionist of the Constitution. Like she's by the book, as you guys could tell. And she said, and technically, he's really not. Well, she didn't say technically. She just said every time she said defendant, she would change it to Mr. Williams.
Right.
And I think her rationale was he's not indicted. So it's just an accusation right now. So she was not even calling him the defendant. She would correct herself and say Mr. Williams.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I actually like this judge because she has so much order in her courtroom. She's not, she's giving smoke to everybody, unlike a certain other judge. I ain't gonna say his name because I'm still in his courtroom, but he's selective giving that smoke. But she runs the courtroom, and I've heard that there's certain people just don't want to even work in a courtroom because it's like being in the military.
But that's who you learn from. That's how you become a better attorney. If I were practicing in that county, she would be someone I would sit there and study because she's very methodical. She wants her information presented in a certain way. She feels like she's probably very organized. Everything is like, let me tell you how I want you to present it to me. Give me the date of the crime, give me the conviction date, give me the disposition date. Like she'll let you know exactly. If you could withstand that, you're going to have some judges that are way on the other end of the court. And she knows that, like way on the other end of how she is, like laid back, almost like, what up, though, counsel? You may have some that are laid back and they don't really care what goes on, and she's aware of that. And this is why she said, I know in the first hearing, the judge said, I don't know how other judges do it in their courtroom, but I want to let you know this is how I do it here. So she knows. And there was an argument earlier in there on another case where somebody tried to use, well, I've been able to used this argument in other courtrooms and judges have granted it. And she was like, that's really nice, but in my courtroom, that's not an argument. So quit trying to persuade me because I'm telling you why. And she
She was
sounded
getting
like she knew what she
frustrated
was
too.
talking about. Yeah, because she was
The
like, because the attorney kept saying, well, I won this before. And she was like, that's really nice, but that's not how the statute reads. I think you have a misinterpretation of the statute. And she broke the statute down like she knew it by heart. So this is
she did
not a
like
judge that is fluffing. This is a judge that knows her stuff. She's not.
the
That's
judge
why I
is
said
like,
she would be great on the federal bench. She would fit
right,
right in.
right. Yeah, it was like when Fonnie was on the witness stand, she was like, "Oh, that was cute,
Madam D.A. Willis. Okay,
Madam DA, that
early.
was
I'm tired of
cute."
you calling her Fonnie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And there's a reason for that because, and I'll tell you later or offline.
I
But you're right,
understand.
Madam DA, Madam
Madam
DA,
DA. Put a handle on
yes,
her name. If I fight
yes,
that hard for that position,
Madam
when you
DA,
call me just to kick it, I'm be like, it's Madam DA. Pam, okay?
absolutely. So overall, what was your biggest takeaway from this hearing?
Well, I knew that she was going to grant him a bond because he was really entitled to one in October. And honestly, when he was not given one in October, perhaps it's because his attorney didn't bring up that it had been past 90 days and he was unindicted. We went over that over here and we went over the statute. And I was like, he was entitled to a bond. Now you cannot control how much of a bond that they give, And so sometimes even when they give you a bond, it's like having no bond because you can't afford it. So
Absolutely.
I wasn't shocked at that part. The alleged outcry statements was something that I was not expecting at all. And of course, this whole Rule 22 fiasco and you about to get us held in contempt of court and kicked out, I wasn't expecting that either.
No, before that happened, I would have laid on the sword. Now, let's talk about his demeanor.
Yes.
We've seen the phone calls for prison calls and him interacting with different people through his phone calls. What stood out for you there from his? Because he didn't even look up.
He didn't look at us at all. He never
At
turned
all.
around. He never looked to see who was in the gallery. Again, it was quite crowded because there were other cases. Everyone keeps asking, did I see Sonia? I didn't see Sonia if she was there at all. I didn't see none of the pictures that I've seen of other people. I didn't see them, but I wasn't, I was trying to keep Dennis out of jail at first, so I really wasn't paying attention as much. But I did not see them for those of you that were asking me that question. But his demeanor, he actually seems a bit defeated to me. Like he was over there and he was just kind of like, I'm here. It was no real interaction with his lawyer, none. He was just sitting over there. He has a haircut, like the thumbnail, you guys can see it. He does have a haircut. Guys, look, Cobb County jumpsuit on it. He was just, I think when he first came in, she had to explain to him, like, yeah, I lost that and they're gonna record it. So you can tell, like, once he came in, she was explaining to what happened with the hearing prior to, and he was kind of like looking like, are you serious? And that was probably the only expression I've seen. Other than that, he really didn't have any facial expressions. It was because see, when those statements came out, it's like, I think and he had a mask on too, so maybe something was going on under there, but I didn't see any like those type of outcry statements. I probably would have been like, I might have been like Dennis, making all, huh? At least I should have seen a little scrunched up on the forehead or something. It was nothing. He was just
Nothing.
What do you think about his demeanor?
Well, it's interesting, because I listened to his phone call, and his personality seemed more outgoing and more animated on the calls. Here, he didn't even turn around, and the judge the judge asked in the very beginning, "Do you want your client to be a part of this the Rule 22 hearing or not?" She said, "Nah, not necessary." I mean, that would have been his opportunity to get animated because there was no cameras, but she, chose not to. Would you have had your client be a part of the hearing?
I would have, because at least perhaps he could have clarified why some of this stuff happened. You know, when you threw certain names out there, he could have clarified. That could have been a time for him to say, listen, I didn't want her to do any of that stuff. I didn't say, you know, you can put that out for the public. That was something that they did, you know, or something. It was just when you came with your replies, the attorney by herself did not have a proper response. I mean, it may not have been
Right.
one. I didn't think it really was one, but I
Well,
would
the
have
first one was bogus
I would have at
in my
least
opinion.
thought a little bit.
Right. I was ready because if she would have asked for more demonstrous evidence besides me pointing it to Sylvia, because I didn't just say over there, I pointed to her. She's right there, Yana.
Yeah, he had a whole demonstrative evidence. He was like, she was like, who are you pointing to, sir? With the gray hair? I said, no, he didn't just make her exhibit A. He did. Made her exhibit A. He did. I said, Lord. And then somebody asked it, we say, well, Dennis never said anything to her. And I really wasn't being, you can ask my husband. I do not stay mad very long. There are two people right now that I can't stand. But other than that, I don't really stay mad very long. So Dennis wanted to be mad. He wasn't going to say nothing. He wasn't going to do nothing.
No. I was being respectful. And I was basically watching the room because, again, that's my first time in that courtroom. And I didn't know what, where the bailiff was coming, where he was coming from. Because the way he was talking to us felt like we were in, like in prison. I'm like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on here?
Wait, but why was Dennis at? Now y'all know I'm from Michigan. Dennis is in this courthouse every day almost in the courthouse. He asking me who people are. Who is that white guy over there? I'm like, Dennis, I don't.
No. What I was asking, let's put it in context now. The guy, let me tell you what happened. Listen. Sylvia was sitting behind the guy, kept on talking to him. Then I realized he's probably the investigator. He's an investigator with for Nesto. Because
we assumed it. We really don't know. We assume that it's the investigator that we're talking about, that's who it was, but we really don't know. You never came to him and said, "Sir, what is your name?"
I saw a button on his jacket, and it was like no, you look at it. It was a button on his jacket, and it looked like it was something either a military button or law enforcement. But he was an investigator. He was an investigator. I would state your career on it.
Don't put my career, put yours.
No, not my career.
Put your bio on it. Why you putting me on there? You're the one that took pictures
listen,
of 5, 6 presidents. What?
Man, listen. I'm gonna have to send the judge a few links, but she's okay. The judge is okay.
That's what he said too. Then Dennis still wasn't over this judge saying he's not mainstream media. I'm in the car and we're talking, and he was like, I'm gonna send the judge a link to my bio with all of my credits and credentials. I said, Dennis is over. Okay.
Is that my nephew? Is that my nephew in the background? Is that my nephew? Dev, what up, Dev?
Hey,
where my nephew at?
Listen, send her them links until she apologizes.
Right, that's right. She's gonna regret it, Judge. You're gonna regret it. I'm gonna give you one of those funny shots, Madam DA shots. What?
No, but seriously though, like in defense of the judge, I can see her Googling and seeing some of these titles on our videos or whatever and looking like, oh yeah, this is turned into an ish show. You know what I'm saying? So if that was it and people were just, for me, I try to stick to the legal. I have a couple of videos where I went a little to the right. You guys know. But for the most part, I try to stick to the legal aspects of it. But so in her mind, she's like, oh, they on YouTube, everybody just, everywhere. But she was not aware that he's inserting himself in some of this stuff as well. Like some of this stuff probably would have been calmer and not been as long as it was, but for certain events that took place of them trying to get a hold of the narrative, which you're not able to do. First of all, who tries to get in front of a story when you don't even have all the evidence they have against you? You don't even have your own discovery yet because you're unindicted. So how are you really getting in front of a story? So, and I said that, and I told you all that at one point. I was like, there's going to be some regretting for coming out here the way that she's coming out here. It's not going to benefit his case. I said that. You guys can vouch that I've said that hundreds of times. It's not going to help you, but people get offended like I'm coming at them personally, but it's not personal for me.
And quite
Same thing,
honestly,
like I said with Sylvia, it's not personal for me. I still speak. I know she really ain't want to say nothing to me, but I mean, I still speak because it's not personal. I can still speak to you. I can still, you short on $1 at the vending machine, I can still give you $1. It's not that deep. I've allowed people to stay in my life too long, often when I was younger, that I don't do that now. So when I see certain signs of things, I just say, okay, that's not nobody to really get close to, or that's not nobody to stay connected to. That doesn't mean I can't speak to you. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be fair if you end up being content. That doesn't mean that I hate you in any way. It's none of that. And I think people are so black and white. That's what they think. You know, like people and shit. Oh, Pam's a snake because Pam says how she feels and she'll cut you off. Like that's just what it is. But it took a while. That's called boundaries. And a lot of people just don't have them. And then they disrespect you for you respecting yourself. And that's what the
right.
issue is. But I speak to you and all of that. You know, like it ain't that deep
And
for
it's
me.
maturity too, Pam. It's maturity. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you keep the people in your life that enhances your life. If people don't enhance your life or add to your life, I mean, what is the point? They're just taking up unnecessary space. So
Yeah,
you
somebody
know,
said I have it pinned. Somebody said how to send Dennis a cash app. I have it pinned at the top. You should be able to see it. It's Hip Hop Inquirer.
it was definitely uh interesting that we had to set up. So I never had to set up that quickly, but I always set up quickly. But that one I had to leave my stuff all in the open. She had 5 minutes.
He was like, I just need 5 minutes, Judge. When she reversed herself, he's like, I just need 5 minutes. Because he was cussing me out all in his head. Like, you got me up here and I got denied. I don't get denied. That's how he was looking at me. I was about to come to y'all like, y'all, we got.
Actually, never got denied.
Yeah, he was looking at me like, I'm going to get denied because I'm fooling up with you on this case. So, yeah, we went through hoops for you guys.
Woo!
I hope
we really did.
You guys
Listen.
can see what was going on in the courtroom and what how the bond hearing went and what was going on. Again, we knew he was going to end up getting bond. It was just really the amount that he was going to get it. So Dennis, do you regret coming, or are you glad that you covered this now that it's all over?
I'm glad that your people are happy that we covered this, because you had made the request, and you were there for me during Tory Lanez, and I'm gonna be there for you. If this is what your audience wants, I mean, we move as a team. We can move as a team. We just got to understand that at the end of the day, it's just about respect. We can always move as a team. I have no problem with that. And to tell them about you came down to the media room. Tell them about you met some other colleagues.
I did come to the media room. They were like, "Are you media?" I was like, "I don't want a lot of these people, but I'm just gonna be quiet and I'm gonna stick next to Dennis." So I went over there and I met a couple of his colleagues, and one of them had the Lions hat on, so that was cool. Even though he said he's a Cowboys fan, I was like, "What is that all about?" It's like, what?
Hey, watch him out.
Like, what is that all about? But yeah, and we got into it. He called Madam DA Fonnie Willis. He called her Fonnie back there, and I had to check him about that back there. But it was cool.
She definitely did.
I had to check him about putting a handle on her name all day, but I heard it was some stuff went down with her, so we'll have to get into that.
Oh yeah. That's, you got the paperwork, because I think I have the.
I know. No, because remember I was down there trying to get paperwork for a lot of this stuff because their systems are still down and nobody could really tell me how to get it. So,
well, I'll have it tomorrow morning.
I'm sure you will.
I'll have it tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much. You guys make sure that you guys thank Dennis, show him your appreciation. His Cash App is over in the pen. He also again has streamed this on his platform, so you guys could always go over there as well if you're not over there already, and do your super chats and all of that over there too. Dennis, I appreciate you. We drove 11 hours to get to this mug, and we're gonna leave in a couple of more hours because next week
sleep
in another state.
Not gonna get no sleep before you guys get on the road?
Just a couple of hours, and we'll be back on the road. I got stuff due on Monday that I got to get done before we go fly to the next state. So you guys see me in a whole nother destination next week.
I thought I was gonna play my nephew some pool. What's up, Dev?
Hey, listen, we ain't got time now, but I'm telling you, when we come back, we're gonna do
You running from a challenge? Listen, no. I got a
See.
special stick for you. Pause.
Oh gosh. All right, you got anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to say? Again, we appreciate you, Dennis.
Just absolutely. Just so you know, follow me on my page at Mr. Dennis Byron or Hip Hop Inquirer, so they can click on. They can find it, because this is the first time I shared a stream. Pam,
I hear you.
yeah, this is the first time I shared the stream, so you guys can follow me on the either platform. And we're gonna do another one. Another one is, I did Nature Boy. If you want to do that one, and we have and we still have the recap for YSL this today. Today, the detective is on the Detective Vasquez is on the stand. He's also a part of the cop show that is on television. So he was one of the star witnesses today.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we can talk about that one as well.
Okay, I'm trying to see if it's any
Questions. Yeah. Pull them up.
Somebody said, please go through the charges. I have no idea what they are really saying. What did the person say? Who wrote the low? Jeez. Y'all trying to get me unmonetized. I'm gonna need you make sure keep these cash apps coming in for Dennis, because we gonna get all these actual stuff. So there is a sodomy, there's a RA charge, there's an aggravated, there is a trafficking, trafficking, and then there is also a misdemeanor actual assault charge. There aren't any new charges. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, thank you, Pam and Dennis. Will you guys explain the new charges and the victim statements? I did go over the statements already. I know I'm just behind on these. There are no new charges. They were just going over the charges. Great job, Dennis. You're a trip, but you keep it real. Put some respect on your name. That's what Monica Corbin said.
Thank you, Monica.
Grown woman vibes and hit us with the $49.99.
Grown woman vibes. What's up?
So much.
Taz, where you at, Taz?
I appreciate that. Right.
Oh, let me say.
Night Skin said, I just Googled outcry witness. I'm shooketh and clutching my imaginary pearls with leaning on my fainting chase. So Google outcry witness.
Right.
Dennis, let's Google that. Let's see what it says. Because if she's clutching her pearls, maybe I was explaining it too simplistic.
We don't have to do that. Let's just go. Alexa, what is an outcry witness?
From findlaw.com. An outcry witness is defined as the first person 18 years of age or older, other than the defendant, to whom the child victim makes a statement about the offense.
Does that sound right, Pam?
In the United States criminal law, an outcry witness is the person who first hears an allegation of abuse made by a child or another victim of abuse or actual crime. The witness is legally obligated to report the abuse and may be called upon during the trial proceedings. So apparently, are they saying they witnessed it? That's what that says, the outcry witness was. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, but it could be to them as well. So perhaps even with the one saying about dad, maybe it was something they saw and maybe not them. I don't really know. But I know one of the witness statements was actually the alleged victim in this case, because they said that that's who one of those cases were. So I don't know how that definition fits or not.
Oh man, you got a lot of questions.
Thank you so much. I said they hit your cash app too.
Hey.
That Nesto's coach was investigating victims and their families, and if so, why would she not make that a talking point? Well, I think the judge pretty much had it in her head what she was gonna do when it came to the bond. I think she pretty much had it in her head. She knew the case. She remembered a lot of the judge resuscitated a lot of the case, and then she went and got her notes from the prior hearing. Like it was a little gap where she took like 5 minutes to get the notes. So it sounds like she took copious notes and she knew the case. So
Yeah, because he was really on top of it. She almost
she,
seemed like she knew it better than the prosecutor.
man, listen. Thank you, Phone Calls from Prison, for the super sticker. Julie Washington said, "Thanks, Pam and Dennis. Cash App sent to Dennis. Dennis,
Thank you.
don't be complaining. I see all these Cash Apps they said they sent to you. I already answered that question. Thank you, Lily J, for the super sticker. Inhale 21981. Thanks for this good teamwork. Separate Cash App sent to Dennis. You better be quiet, Dennis, talking about. Cut it out. Nice. Like Judge attitude to make you a better attorney or find a new career. I agree. Thank you so much for Shabi, who's a member over here for 3 months, sent you a Cash App. Dennis said thank you.
Don't slip down there to Magic City tonight.
My Magic City days are over.
The Makita Method said Cash App sent to Hip Hop Inquirer. Thank you both for the hard work. We thank you, Makita, for the Cash App. Miss Kokomery. Thank you so much. C.A. Williams. I'm just gonna put you guys on. Hey. Majeski was the prosecutor. I think they rotate. Somebody asked, I Am Worthy said, "Where's Majeski?" I think they rotate.
They did say Did you catch it when she said that we'll probably have him indicted by April?
Yeah, we did get that part. We got that part.
Right.
But it was towards the end. There was some other stuff that you have talking about part 1. So I guess you got another part 2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for the super sticker. So I'll make sure I click you guys. I see you guys. Thank you so much.
And listen, if you're a content creator and want to license the video, just send me a email at news@hiphopinquirer.com. news@hiphopinquirer.com.
See, he's gonna share the content.
Yeah.
But I was the one that initiated it. So I was like, we gonna do this together, buddy.
That's right. That's
okay.
Right. That's right.
This was fun, Dennis. This was
absolutely
fun. I'm gonna ignore all the people that told me I shouldn't talk to you because you ain't ish.
Right. Yeah, you hit them with this.
Right.
Hey, Dev, when they say that, hit them with this, Dev.
Right.
I'm not doing this with you right now. Thank you guys for all of the Cash Apps. Terry and Shonda and Ultimate and Jima and Kimbrelli and LaVersa. Thank you, Shayla, Cheryl, Michelle, Aaron, Danielle, Anita, Alicia, Lori, Terry, Barbara, Angel, Sharice. I'm just doing first names. Lisa, Tanya, Bridget, Lakita, Loretta. Hey, Loretta, you out here balling, ain't you, girl? Thank you. Valerie, Diane O'Neill, and Trista. Oh, I said your whole name. I'm sorry. I'll be trying not to. You got anybody you want to shout out before we get up off of here? We had close to 4,000 between us in this chat. We not playing with them.
I want to shout out Tiffany. Hold on. Tiffany, and one more time, Tiffany. And everyone else.
No, don't play. So okay, everybody hold on. Ask for a reversal of your Cash Apps.
No. Wait, hold on. How do you do? Oh, hold on. Let me check. Pam, hold on. Time out.
I'm just playing games.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. Hold on. Thank you, Marchetta, Carol, Lisa, Sharita, Brenda.
Thank you, sister. The sister sent the $50. Thank you so much.
Kimberly, Danielle, Lakeisha, Bridget, Madam DA. No, that's not. No, sorry. Aaron, Michelle, Elisa, Laquita, Tuana, Barbara. Phone calls from prison. Hey, Lori, Natasha, Shanika, Christine, Clarissa, Julie, Terry, infamous. No, that's wrong. That's Makita.
See, this mean it's time to go. See, he over here being messy. I'm not trying to beef with nobody.
No, I'm not. No, 'cause
I know y'all keep my name on thumbnails and stuff. I try to come in peace.
My vision is, I just saw,
Oh, that it started because you know that Dennis has those dark sunglasses he wears, and the judge was like, "Is there a reason why you have sunglasses on in my courtroom?" It's like, "Your Honor, it's a prescription." She was like, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
I said, "Man, I knew then we was in for it."
As you can see, and from her bench to the gallery is a distance.
Yes. Phone Jones said, "Am I going to keep the live stream up?" I am. But again, if you guys can ask Dennis, this is his intellectual property. I ain't gonna say he's striking no channels or nothing, but I don't know what Dennis gonna do. I'm just saying I know I got permission because I'm the one that sent him on the mission. So
Ooh,
you see
bars.
that? You know how I did
She got
that?
those bars.
Yeah, you see how I did that? So if this law thing don't work out, you just never know.
Bars.
Dev's writing your lines, isn't he? I know Dev's writing your
You're
lines.
such a loser. Let's get up.
Tell them all.
All right, we out of here. I gotta go. I'm not doing this with you, Dennis. Okay, we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Also subscribe to, you have two channels, Hip Hop Inquirer and then Dennis Byron. Subscribe to those if you guys have not done so already. Keep showing them love, because if it wasn't for Dennis, we would not have this footage. He went to bat. He had to take a little bit of hits today. He was prepared for him. We had our preparation session.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think he was really prepared. Like, he was ready, but he didn't know he was ready until he had to get ready.
Appreciate you.
Right. To throw me in there. And I appreciate the demonstrable evidence that I had in the courtroom that helped me along the way. Because I'm gonna tell you something. That was the change. That was the turning point for the judge.
It was Exhibit A. That is true.
That was the turning point.
All right, now we out of here. We'll talk to you next time.